Well, folks, are you looking for advice on what to do at GenCon 2025? Or later if we just reuse the same video next year? Then join us today, because that's what we're going to be talking about. This is the Geek Cabal channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Bobbie.
I'm Chad.
And today we're going to be talking about advice for GenCon 2025.
Or later years, if
yes,
we reuse this,
or later years if we reuse this, or if you see it later, because we still get views from the ones we recorded almost 3 years ago.
A lot of those are also not year-specific advice.
Yeah,
and we'll probably be mentioning some of those older ones now with a few years of retrospective.
Yeah, there is one big thing you will notice in the last batch of these we did. We had to talk about the unknown virus of unspecified origin, and that I think we can actually call by name now, but I'm not 100% certain, so I'm not going to, but it's the one you should all know about.
Yeah, shut down the whole country, for the whole world there for a little while, actually.
Yes. And so we had some advice specific to those years.
Yep.
And that is, even though it's still in the GenCon terms of service, as far as like, you're not supposed to show up if you are infected, and you're not supposed to show up if you're sick. But they're no longer requiring masks or proof of vaccination or anything like that. So, but they reserve the right to reinforce that should it come down to it, but I would not expect it to. I can't guarantee anything, I don't work for them, but I'm just saying they would have probably said something at this point if that were going to happen. So that's the kind of thing you'll see in the other videos that you won't see here, primarily. I'm sure there's other things, because I tried to go through the last few videos and try to make notes, but I did not quite finish, and we were kind of up against the clock here for this to be of any relevance to anyone, because the event tickets go on sale in a few days. So from when we're recording this, hopefully from when you're seeing this, but if it's like after May 18th,
yeah, May 18th.
If it's after May 18th that you see this, the event tickets are already on sale, and that should probably be your priority.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, we're going to talk about ticketing first. And this is, it's hard to make general advice and long-term advice. So this is going to be mixed in, because initially I had an idea of like kind of splitting the advice, but this is going to be a mix. So if you've never been, this is all relevant to you.
Yep.
If you have been, some of this is relevant to you. So we're going to start with ticketing, like I mentioned, since it's the top priority at the moment. So number one, make sure you have a badge.
Yeah. Make sure it's mailed to you. Make sure you get it as soon as you can. Some people like to procrastinate.
Yes. Now, on a couple of those notes, before Chad tries to belittle me for procrastinating, I just bought mine like a week ago. I
bought mine earlier this year.
They went on sale in January, just to be clear.
That's when I bought mine.
Yes. Now, we're past that point, but to be clear, the main reason to buy it in January is if you're going to engage in the housing portal.
Which I tried.
Which we're months past that, so I just briefly mentioning, the weekend they go on sale, 2 weekends later is when the housing portal opens, and you have to have a badge, and that is your best shot of getting a connected hotel downtown. But that's a whole other rigmarole, and we usually try to put out a video around January talking about that. So we are past that point. If you're not engaged in that yet, I'm not going to say there's no chance, but it's a little chance. I mean, watch the forums and stuff, because people do back out, like, hey, I've got this room, and they switch, and you don't get charged until sometime in June or July, and that's when it finally actually locks everything in. So I think there are availabilities in the housing portal, but there's probably not anything right downtown. So
the bigger issue is GenCon has sold out a few times before.
Yes, if you're seeing this after the event tickets are on sale, but before the convention, you definitely need to get your badge, because as Chad has pointed out, I believe two or 3 years they have sold out.
And that's recently, not, a decade ago it sold out.
Yeah, like last year it sold out, but it didn't sell out like right before the convention. So don't wait, but like, if they're approaching selling out, they do send out announcements. However, if you've never been, you're probably not going to get those announcements. So, sign up, at the very least, sign up on the website.
Yes.
But you should be getting the tickets, your badges. Now, as far as the mailing them, I recommend that if you're in the United States. If you're overseas, I don't know what kind of potential postal issues you're going to run into, and I definitely don't know what's going to happen at the moment. I don't think this is affected by the tariff situation, but I am no expert on that whatsoever.
No.
So you might want to do will call if you're overseas.
And be willing to wait in line for a little while on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever you're showing up.
Yeah, now from what I've heard, if you're somehow here Wednesday, the show starts on a Thursday. If you're here the Wednesday afternoon, I hear the will call line's very short. But once you start getting into the evening, because that's when people are starting to get into town, into the Indianapolis, then yeah, like we've had it where we've been outside the convention center before, and like we were able to catch
For an hour,
Yeah.
we were outside the convention center.
Yeah, we were able to catch part of the ball game at the stadium next door.
Oh yeah.
So, and we're going to be talking about why you don't want to spend a whole lot of time outside in Indiana in August here after a while. So, have them mailed. Event tickets, also, like, you want to have, there's a deadline in June that you want to have all this stuff done so it can be mailed to you.
Yes. Physical event tickets get mailed with your badge.
Yes, and also you have to have a badge to buy the event tickets, just like the housing portal. And you have to be able to make a wish list, which is important for the coming sale of them. Hopefully I get this video up before that. So otherwise, you're going to be waiting in the will call line if you've already bought them. Now, there is something... Now, this does not apply to your badges. This has to do with... Well, I guess it could apply to your badge.
Okay. So, if you're picking your badge up at will call, they put your tickets in with that.
Yeah.
But if you have bought event tickets after your badge was mailed out to you,
then you're going to have to get them at will call.
You're going to have to get them, at will call.
Okay, so
Or do you go to the ticket booth?
No, that's what we're about to talk about. So I'm going to explain a minor intricacy of this. I am not advocating that you indulge in this because you're taking a colossal risk that they will sell out. But the will call line is gigantic.
It is.
The ticket line is not gigantic.
Nope.
The ticket line is like 10, 20 minutes. And
If that.
So, if you think the event you're going to be in is not going to sell out before the convention, and it's, again, I'm not advocating you do this, but you could, theoretically, wait until you're there at the convention center and then buy your tickets, and the line will be exponentially shorter.
Oh, yeah.
I have seen people several years go up to the ticket line and be like, what do you mean I can't get my... No, you already bought your tickets. You have to go to will call. Now, the event was sold out, so they couldn't just real quickly go refund their ticket and then try to jump back in because it would only be their ticket. You got to wait till the system updates. So it doesn't go that fast. And in the meantime, like someone else could get ahead of them and buy their ticket or whatever. So that's something to consider. Again, I don't condone that course of action. I just want you to know it's an option. It probably also applies to your badge because the badge sales would also be there, right?
I believe so, yeah, because will calls literally walk up, here's my ID proving who I am, and they get you your stuff.
Yeah, so I think you're at less of a risk there, but you're going to want to stay on top of things to make sure they aren't close to selling out before the show. If they are, then bite the bullet, eat the will call line. You're just going to have to do it. But if we get like the day before and they're like, well, all the badges are still available, and you somehow haven't bought one yet, it's your choice. And also, these things open on Wednesday, not the Thursday the show starts. And if you have to do with any of these lines, go Wednesday, because you might be in line forever, but you're not going to be in line forever, wasting convention time.
Yes.
Okay, unless you're there for trade day, in which case you should have done it already. But
yeah.
And then the other thing, as far as ticketing, is there are generic tickets. They're $2 a piece, and there's some events that just take generics, like the BattleTech pods. You can just pay for in generics. But there are others. You have to look at the generic. You have to look at the ticket prices. They're all going to be in increments of $2. Because one of the things is, say there's an event that you want to go to but it's sold out. Now, you can buy generics to cover the cost, go there, and if someone doesn't show up and they open up a spot, they'll take your generics and you're in.
Yep.
And in the event that somehow, like say you plan to do that, but something never opens up, well, like I said, generics are acceptable for a lot of things. And as long as you turn them back in before, I think it's 3 p.m. Sunday before the show closes, it might even be 4 p.m. before the show closes, you'll get your money back in the form of system credit. So, so your badge next year will be a little bit less. So I don't really think you can lose with generics as long as you don't buy a ton of them in anticipation of that. Like, try to get the actual event tickets.
And I'm going to mention this real quick because the booth is close to will call and all. Don't forget to grab a coupon book.
Yes. Excellent tip.
Like, it is where will call is. It is all the way down next to the escalators that are usually working.
Yeah. Okay. This is by. Is that Capitol Avenue?
I think so.
Okay. So the building, one side of the building faces Capitol Avenue, and half of the length of the building is these booths between two of the escalator banks. You have will call, you have ticket purchases, you have returns, you have something else. It's information or something else.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking at them, going from the left, you have I think it's the information booth. It's the very far one. Then you have a huge bank of will calls. Then you have ticket purchasing, badge purchasing, and I think returns are all done at the same booth. And then to the right of that, it's not lit up like the rest of it, is a single booth, and it's the coupon book, the bag if they're giving one out that year. The catalog is not there. The catalogs are actually on the opposite wall. Like if you were standing looking at that, it's behind you, and elsewhere. But you got to keep an eye out for those because they stock them in the morning, and once they're gone for the day. They typically don't come back and restock them.
Yep.
So the coupon book has for your free die from Crystal Cast. That's a commemorative for that year GenCon die.
That's 1d6 that you get.
It's 1d6, or it's some money off the set because they also make like a whole RPG set with a 10. And like the first few that they sell every morning will have a specific GenCon sticker, maybe with the year or something. Then the rest will have a more generic sticker. So, but it's the same dice if you don't care about that part of it. The others do have some value sometimes, like the 50th anniversary ones were quite valuable. I have a set from whatever year didn't happen. They sold them on their website because they already made them.
Yeah.
Again, because of the unknown virus and unspecified.
What was it when they reintroduced Alpha Strike, the starter box for Alpha Strike? It was literally for Catalyst. It was 50% off if you bought and another item.
Yeah, it was something like that. And one year it was like half price for the Game of Armored Combat box.
Yeah, that was the first year that was out.
Yeah, so Catalyst usually has a good coupon in there. The other booths will have dice coupons. Some will have the first 100 people get a free miniature. Others will have a free spin on a prize wheel. I mean, it's worth your time.
I've seen Wormwood Studios with 10% off the table.
Yeah, you're going to buy a $5,000 table. That 10%'s substantial.
It is.
Also, I think the back of the coupon book is usually a free Boss Monster promo for the last several years.
Usually, yeah.
So yeah, there's stuff. It's worth your time. Okay, if nothing else, you're gonna get the free die from it, and they don't run out super fast.
No.
Now they did the 50th anniversary because it was the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I'm not gonna go into that. People call me a scalper, but I bought some other 50th anniversary dice from a different booth. They were officially licensed. They cost me $3. This one's $50 a piece. But they had plenty. I didn't buy the last time. I only bought 3 of them, and I kept one of them. So
how could you reseller?
Yeah, I know. But anyway, so yes, that's most of the stuff for ticketing. Let's talk about your wardrobe and a few physical related things here.
Yeah.
Number 1 is your shoes.
Make sure they are good. You need them somewhere between brand new and not broken in and sold they're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Preferably closer to the I just broke them in point.
Yes. And on that topic, if you're watching this video in May or very early June. That's probably the latest you want to buy these shoes, so that they will be broken in by the beginning of August.
I am planning to get mine next week.
Yeah, mine are good. I'm probably going to stick with what I've got.
I've had mine for over a few years now.
Yeah. So that's very important. Do not buy new shoes like a week before the show.
Yeah, your feet will not like you, and make sure you don't wear,
And don't wear ones that are falling apart.
Yeah, because your feet will not like you.
Because they're going to really disintegrate, because you're going to be walking a lot.
You will hit a good number of miles walked up there.
Yeah. I really should turn on the pedometer on my phone and see what it actually comes out to this year. Just so I know, just so I can say about it.
Just for those 4 days.
Yeah. Okay, so also for the rest of your wardrobe, you need to keep in mind that Indiana in late July, early August, typically
is hot
and humid. The humidity is the bigger problem, because when we say hot, it can hit the 90s, but you're usually talking the mid to upper 80s.
Yeah.
Which, if we were in Arizona,
not an issue.
Yeah, I mean it's hot, obviously, but there's no humidity. Your body's sweat function actually performs what it's supposed to do, where the sweat evaporates and it cools you off.
However, in Indiana, if you wear glasses and you step from inside the convention center to outside, or outside to inside, your glasses are going to fog up.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is.
Yeah, or they stand a very high chance to anyway.
Yes.
So now, in years past, sometimes we've gotten lucky, and it's been the upper 70s and low 80s, and no real humidity. Other years, it's rained a lot.
Yeah.
So it can be a mixed bag, but plan on probably hot, probably humid. So, in that respect, if you're going to be outside for any real length of time, and there's reasons to, consider a hat and sunblock.
Yes.
Because if it is hot, it's probably blazing sun hot. So.
And if you are, follically challenged, like some of us, you don't want your scalp getting sunburned.
Yeah.
I had that happen one year.
I've had it happen once, but never at GenCon.
Yeah, I had it happen at GenCon. It wasn't a bad sunburn, but it was noticeable.
I was in Colorado at 12,000 feet, where you're far enough up that the atmosphere is thinned out.
Yeah.
And it's something like 10 minutes there is an hour on the beach in Miami, as far as the sun exposure.
Cool.
And so the whole, the red hair, plus it's thinning a little bit up here, I got burned in here, and that sucked. Because I'm sure it sucked for Chad, but it really sucks when you go to brush your hair. I'm just saying, there's not a lot of brushing going on over there.
No, there's razor blades.
Still, you're just cutting off the burned excess. You're eliminating the problem. So anyway,
wow.
So anyway, you might want to consider shorts as kind of what we're in t-shirts. We're going.
Yes, lighter clothes.
Now, the inside of the convention center is not as hot. It's relatively nice.
They keep their air conditioning going.
Some people find it cold. I never have.
No.
But it is definitely cooler than outside.
Yes.
Now the dealer's hall will still be a little warm because there's all kinds of people in there. But once you get into those side rooms and they get closed, some of those do get chilly. So if you got a lot of seminars and stuff in side rooms and you're kind of a cold-natured person, you might want to bring a long sleeve shirt or a light jacket or something. But if you're not going to be in there, I would not be toting around extra clothing if you don't have to.
You don't need to be wearing thermal underwear for negative 50 degrees.
No. You wear layers, you'll probably die of heat exhaustion or something.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Just from carrying the layers around after you've removed them, you will die of heat exhaustion.
Yeah. Sorry for the interruption here, folks. I had this video edited. I was getting ready to upload it when some of it became no longer accurate. I'm going to leave the video as is, but understand that I'm going to have another video in the very near future explaining some new details as far as GenCon and large bags and stroller. Well, I don't think large bags. Strollers, wagons, etc. In brief, they have been banned from the exhibit hall. I've got to read up to see if that's the only place that you can't bring them. And they said, no, if you have if you need accommodations, like if you're a person who has a mobility scooter or something like that, they do explain how to go about getting permissions for that. There is also going to be a bag check area, and I've got to read up on that. So there is going to be a separate video detailing this. I'm going to go ahead and leave in the parts we were talking about because they're still kind of relevant. Plus, I think there's probably some funny bits in there. But just know that you probably won't be seeing a bunch of wagons inside the dealer's hall this year. And there will be a bag check area. So keep an eye out for those. Like I said, I've got to read up on the whole policy because there's some other bits of it that I would not have noticed that people have been pointing out on the forums. And I want to make sure I've got a good idea of what everything is before I do a whole video on it, because I don't want to just blurt it out here and then be wrong about something again. So anyway, that's all I've got to say. So keep an eye out for that other video, and once I have it up and running, it'll be linked down in the description. So if you see a link down in the description by the time you watch this video, then I've already addressed it somewhere. So anyway, back to the video. So keep that in mind. You want to have a really good bag, like a shoulder bag.
By good bag, we mean one with proper padding on the strap, or straps.
Yes.
If you want to go the backpack route. I am going to try to go the backpack route because I am tired of the shoulder bag I have that doesn't have good padding, and after an hour or two in dealer's hall, my shoulder killing me.
Yeah. If you're going single strap, you want one that can go across because it distributes weight better than the single shoulder, which means that like some of the bags I see people carry, I've seen people put them on one shoulder before. But you don't want to do that because the straps are really thin, and it's going to be like right here. You know, you want the bigger, so you can hold it on the opposite shoulder. It helps distribute the weight better. You don't want to have, unless it's absolutely necessary, you do not want to be one of these people that has the backpack that sticks 4 feet off your back. And I'm not exaggerating on that. I have seen that before. I've seen people with Red Ryder wagons in there. I've seen people now. Strollers are kind of hard to avoid if you've got a younger kid with you. There are people that would advise you to just not bring your kid or not go. But if you're going to, just be mindful, but also be mindful not just what you're doing, but that people cannot see the stroller. Because whenever I'm walking, I'm looking at eye level to make sure I don't bump into people in the backpacks. I'm not looking down.
And the lowest I am looking is the tables of the booths.
Yeah. So you might want to somehow incorporate a flag or something that sticks up out of the front of the stroller so people know that something's coming towards them. Unless you have one of those war wagon strollers that if I were standing up to here on me, that I think you could actually hide 2 adults inside of.
Now, I will also say...
By the way, to be crystal clear, I think those are wildly excessive and you should not bring them, but I guess that's ultimately up to you.
I would like to say, I don't know about for Bobbie, for me, if it's a wagon to hold a 5 or 6 year old, I don't mind that. They're not going to have that stamina built up because they might enjoy miniatures and board games as well.
No, I get it. But Chad, I'm talking ones that are as long as your table here.
I know.
I think they conceptually started life as battering rams and just became child strollers at some point.
Probably.
And to me, they're obscene. It's the same thing with the 4-foot backpacks. I've seen people come in with luggage stacked 5 feet high because they're bringing stuff to sell to the booth. And that's fine if you're going to the booth, offloading all that crap, and then getting the hell out of there. You're only going to inconvenience a handful of people there and back. But if you're just doing looky-loo strolling through there, no. Get your spouse, the two of you, work out a system where one of you has the kids and the other one's in there or something. Or tell the kids, hey, you got to walk. And if they want to sit down, then one of us, go to the kid area and one of you sit down with the 2 kids or whatever, work it out. Again, like I mentioned in our other video, be courteous. Yes, I'm aware that you have a situation that a lot of people there aren't in. And if I had kids, I'd be bringing them too because I wouldn't want to miss it. And, I'm sure I would like to believe that whoever I was with at that time would also be into this kind of stuff. and I wouldn't want her to miss it. So, I get it. But also, like, that might be a weekend for Grandma and Grandpa to have the kids. That's all I'm saying. Till they're old enough to actually walk around in there.
Yeah.
Because then at that point, sure, introducing all this stuff, we got to have the next generation coming up somehow. So now, if you choose to bring it, don't think I'm sitting here like, oh, Bob's an asshole saying don't bring your kids. I'm just saying, like, consider what you're going to be doing if you're going to be doing that.
And how much of the convention are you going to miss by, taking care of the kids?
Yeah. So, let's see. Yeah, I think the only other thing here on the bag front is, like, keep in mind, whenever you buy something, how heavy it is. Okay, because you can, like, some of those boxes have a lot of cardboard in them. They got some weight to them. And if you think, like, I typically have a plan. And my plan is, if I'm going to buy something really heavy, I try to get the heavy stuff, and then I make a trip to the car to drop off the heavy stuff. Yeah, it's a bit of a walk, but I'd rather make that walk than destroy my back and shoulder by carrying around. Because like I've gotten books autographed before, get heavy boxes full of stuff. I mean, plus the size of your bag is limited, unless you bring those ones that we got.
I'm not.
That I could carry
I could sit in it.
Yeah, like I could carry probably my nephew in it if I had to, like if he was a little bit lighter. But like he could like stalk and hide inside there. But might be a way to get him into the convention. That's a joke. That's not happening. Don't do that. This isn't a drive-in movie where you just hide some people in the trunk. But don't do that either. Drive-ins are in trouble. They need all the money. You should patron. You should go to a drive-in though sometime. They're good.
They are.
Actually, well, I'll mention that here in a minute. So I think that's all on the clothing front in general. Unless Chad's got something else like I assume he does.
Yeah, never be afraid to make that trip to the vehicle with a purchase. One, how much did you spend on it?
Yeah, I mean,
because if it's a brand new board game, $120 maybe, depending on what type of board game. Do you really want to carry that around in a convention center?
Yeah, where people are gonna bump into the bag.
Bump into it, dent it, damage it. Possibly a bad actor in there.
Yeah.
Who takes it from you. Or would you rather take it out to your vehicle and lock it up where it's safer?
Yeah, and to be clear, whenever I say vehicle, I do also mean like if you're in a connected hotel room, something like that. In other words, some place where you're going to leave it that is locked up.
Yes.
Is the general gist of what I'm getting at here.
So
like if you're staying at an airport, if you're staying at a hotel at the airport, well, that's not really practical.
But maybe you drove in that day and you have a vehicle you can hide it in.
Yeah.
Or, unfortunately, you might have taken the shuttle or Ubered in, and then you're going to have to carry it around with you.
Yeah, I would say the shuttle from Gate 10 parking, but I believe that's not a thing anymore.
No.
So.
But I know there's been times we've gone where I've made 2-3 trips to the vehicle in one day.
Yeah.
Because of the size of what I got.
Yeah. Also, I guess I could just go ahead and throw this in here because I don't have it anyplace else on the list. If you don't have a connected hotel and you drive in, like I treat the car like a home base. Go there, do that, or I'll sit down for a minute, turn the air conditioning on. Just take a moment. Sometimes that's the halfway point between going to the food court at the mall, which I believe is also now no longer in existence, so don't count on that. I don't know 100% certain on that one, but don't count on it because the mall got sold like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're going to be turning that into housing or something. And just a general, get away from everything for a moment, take a breath. Don't be afraid to do that with a hotel room or your car or whatever.
A little bit of personal space away from the crowd.
Yeah, or even just step outside or step to, some places less people. For instance, there's always less people on the second floor.
Oh, yeah.
Just, get away from everything just for a minute, decompress, take a breath, gather your mental forces before you go back into the scrum.
Sometimes to do that, you just need to go use the restroom and take up a stall for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean...
There might be a line forming, but you need your personal space as much as everybody else.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, I don't know if it's better to advise you to go into one that has a lot of stalls or to go into the lesser used ones. because like for a lot of stalls, there's a lot of traffic.
Yep.
But the lesser used, there's not as much traffic, but there's only a handful of stalls, so you might be holding up a lot of people. So yeah, I mean it's a thing. You know, no one wants to hear that, but it is. By the way, I know where some of the better bathrooms are in the convention center. I'm not going to tell you on here. If you want to know, meet us at the convention somewhere, and I will let you know. Probably. That's golden information.
Like, it is.
And by the way, that color has nothing to do with anything that happens there, just to be perfectly clear. But
I wonder if they're going to have those like interview booths again.
Oh, the screaming booths?
Yeah.
They were there for Comic-Con.
I mean, you could easily take one of those up to get a bit of personal space.
Yeah, if the screaming booths are there, sit in one of those for a bit. In case you don't know what we're talking about, there were these clear plastic booths, and like, you know, it's got a door, it's totally enclosed, which shut the door. There's like a table with like a bench on both sides, and they're for like, I mean, I've seen them used for literally for screaming in videos. I think it's why they put them on college campuses. But for here, it's like, you know, if you got to like take a call, or if you just want to have a seat away from the noise. I don't know if they'll be there for GenCon, because like every square inch is potential real estate there, especially for a werewolf once it comes nighttime. There you go. You can play a 4-man game of that inside the booth. But anyway, so I think that's all we got on that.
Yeah.
So now, on to food. This is a very important topic.
It is, as you can tell by both of us.
So, general advice that I shouldn't have to share, but I'm going to. Number one, make sure you eat.
Yes.
Like, you can get going with stuff and not realize that it's been like 12 hours since you've eaten anything. Or you can be late and skip breakfast. Or, you know, you're like, oh, I gotta go back to my room and get some sleep. Like, no, like, you will drag ass if you start doing that.
Yes. Take that 30 minutes. Get you a little something to eat at the very least.
Yes. And on the whole food topic, there's a variety of places. Obviously, you're in the downtown center of a major American city here. So there's all kinds of local places, and we'll get to some of those here in a second. But inside the convention center, there are openings. Like if you're in the dealer's hall, around the outer perimeter, and also if you're in the attached gaming hall, there'll be parts of the giant columns that are in kind of the middle. And I think there's one on the outer side too. But there are like places that sell food and drinks.
It's now, like soda pop and...
Yeah, it's sodas. I think it's Powerade, not Gatorade. They'll have like some of the Minute Maid, like orange juice and grape juice, stuff like that.
Hot dogs,
pizza slices, burgers. They might have salads. Wouldn't count on it. But
it's not horrible food. I've gotten it before.
Yeah, I mean, the food quality is okay. It's the price.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a piece of pizza is like $8 or $9. Something stupid like that. Don't be fooled by the more expensive hot dog, by the way. That's like a brat or something. And I got one last year. It's like, oh, what's a couple dollars more on the hot dog? So surely it's more substantial. No, it was like this long. Like it did not fill the bun. And I was like, I paid like $8 for that.
Yeah.
I felt like an idiot.
I'm glad I just got the hot dog.
Yeah, I should have just got the hot dog. So you have those. Then inside the convention center, the last couple of years I've had a few kind of carts and booths set up, some Indian food, and some kind of tropical deal. I think that was my drinks.
Coffee stand.
Yeah, and then there are 2 food courts. One is along, again, I think it's Capitol Avenue, but it's in the half that doesn't have all the booths. It's like the midway point of the building. I think that one is still open. And then there's one by Georgia Street that's kind of recessed in there. And they'll have more pizzas and similar stuff to what's inside. It's just, it's like broken up into different restaurants that are all really the same restaurant. So then, in your immediate vicinity, you also have the food trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to be between the convention center and Lucas Oil Stadium. They moved them there last year, and I think that's probably just where they're going to stay.
Yeah, probably.
Even when Georgia Street's reopened, that's probably where they're going to stay, because I think everyone likes that better location.
It's a bit better to be able to buy out that parking lot instead of paying out to shut down Georgia Street.
Yeah. So the food trucks, they line up on both sides of this one street, and this year they're doing something different. The trucks that are there are the trucks that are going to be there. Like it's like that's it. That's
they park and the trucks stay there for all 4 days.
Yeah, I mean they'll probably leave at night, but
I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so due to security. But we'll find out. They won't be open at midnight for sure. Well, hell, I don't know. Maybe they will be. But
I mean, at that point, like to make money, I would. If you got the supply, why not?
Yeah. So that's a potential X factor there.
And
then where those are going to be set up.
Food truck also doesn't just mean food trucks. Yep. There's going to be tents with local restaurants who have partnered with GenCon and have stuff set up.
Yeah, the main ones that you're going to want to know are there's going to be one for the island noodles.
Oh yeah, those are good if you can get the line when it's short.
Yeah, like 90% of the time when you look at it, the line's gigantic. But every once in a while, you'll glance over there and there will be nobody in line. Like, that's the moment to go. They're really good.
Their line also does move rather quickly.
Well, yeah, they only have two choices. So.
Yeah, with chicken or nothing.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, vegetarian or with chicken.
Yeah.
And it's literally, they make this in a giant wok.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a show if you want to see the guy with the swords chopping everything up.
Yeah, in hand, by the way, because he's cutting it right into the wok.
Yeah. So you have island noodles. You have there used to be a place called Burger University. Was that it?
Yep.
But it's been folded back into its parent company, which is also the company that owns Harry and Izzy's. And I can't think of the main location, but that's what it's named after. Anyway, they'll have some burgers. I think hot dogs.
Nah, I think they're mainly just burgers.
It's burgers, but they also have like something each year, and that's where you can also get the shrimp cocktails that they're known for, and the sauce for them is very hot. I've seen people eat it like, but they'll be there.
Hot box pizza will be there.
Hot box pizza.
They usually have a GenCon special flavor.
Yeah, and I don't think they've announced it yet.
No,
I could be wrong, but I don't think they have. But they'll also have like cheese and pepperoni and
that's it.
Yeah, at least and breadsticks and drinks.
Yes.
And in years past, it's been like $6 for a slice of pizza, give or take. So maybe it's $7 this year because inflation, tariffs. I don't know, but. It's better than the pizza inside the convention center.
It is.
It's a bigger piece. It's more substantial. Two of them is a small meal, or them and a thing of breadsticks. And
I would say get the breadsticks because you get a free GenCon cup with it.
Yeah, that's true. You'll get a plastic. It's probably 20-ounce cup, maybe. Maybe it's kind of small. Maybe it's not a 20-ounce. I don't know. Is yours sitting over there?
Yeah, it's sitting right over there. If you want to go grab it.
Hold on just a second, folks. Got to get a prop.
I could have drunk that.
Well, you could have, but you didn't. You'll get a cup of approximately this size. This is the 2023 cup. I think last year it was white.
Yes, it was solid white. You could. I'm a blue and give me slightly clearer.
Yeah, so it's got the Hot Box Pizza logo, and this is probably actually like a GenCon specific thing with the dragon on here, and then GenCon, and then around the top it's got their locations and phone numbers. It's a cup.
It's a nice cup. I use one mostly.
Yeah, I kept mine from last year. I don't think I've used it, but I have it.
I tend to use them as my primary drinking glass.
Then there was some kind of taco stand last year. That was new, but I don't remember who it was.
That was, I don't know.
But it was good. I did stop there.
And they did have a special GenCon flavor.
Yeah, and it was reasonable. Then there is the soda people.
Wild Bill Soda.
Wild Bill Soda. Excellent soda. What you do is you get a cup, and if you don't already have one, like we've already got them, but
they will sell them at the convention center.
Yeah. Now, don't remember how much it is. It's kind of pricey for the cup.
It is,
and it's only been going up. But for the day that you buy it, you get unlimited refills. Now, obviously, you probably want it for more days, so you go ahead and pay for the other days.
And if you already have the cup, it's like $20 for 4 days for the entire convention.
Yeah, I think it was a little more than that last time. But still, the point is, if you look at the price of drinks every place else, I think it's something like after like the fourth or fifth drink, you're no longer paying essentially. Now they're soda fountains and they've got different drinks. Usually they have root beer, cream soda, sarsaparilla,
Coke.
They usually have
Coke.
a grape and a cherry, a cola.
Mm-hmm. They had Pop Rock last year.
They have Pop Rocks, or they have
Ring Pops,
Bomb Pops. They had lemonade somewhere. I think that might have been at Comic-Con. But
that wouldn't be too bad.
But that will be outside, and you fill up the drinks. And if you buy for all the days, you get it's a little paper badge thing, like you get like at a state fair that clips on, and you just show it to them, and you just go through the line, refill. And they've got ice there if you want it, and a sparkling water if you want to clean the cup out if you don't, if you're nowhere near the restroom or whatever. So yeah, probably a fast track to diabetes because this very sweet drinks.
They do actually use sugar, not
And as far as the company themselves, I think it's well managed. We see them at other events, and they're veteran owned.
Yeah,
if that's relevant to you. Like I said, they were also at Comic-Con this last year, and there it's inside the dealer hall, but here it's gonna be outside.
But for Indiana Comic Con, it's not as big of a space crunch inside.
Right. Now, I should double check to make sure they're not inside, because there's some people that aren't showing up this year that there might have been some space, but I doubt it. It's probably too late. But there's also another company like that I've not indulged, but they've got like a bunch of flavored sodas, and it's a similar scheme, I think. I don't remember what they're called though. So anyway, but yeah, so you got the food trucks, and there's a lot of variety there. They've got a couple Mexican trucks, a couple burger joints.
I think last year I saw Filipinian.
Yeah, food. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of variety. With them staying there, I don't know if the ones that were geared more towards breakfast are gonna be there or not. I kind of hope so, because Chris and I actually went for the breakfast one year, and it wasn't bad.
The one that was pretty much sausage with pancake and cereal on it was delicious.
But I know personally, I try to get a lobster roll at least once because I love lobster rolls. But man, they're going up in price.
They are.
Then there was one year, I've never seen them back, but were you there one year that was just like the dad and his kids that just had like a couple of grills from Walmart?
Yeah, that was the one after the world shut down.
Just selling burgers and hot dogs.
And I will tell you, for what you paid, they were good.
Yeah, I mean, it was brilliant. Like, that guy should have definitely continued that business. That was brilliant.
It was a smart move on his front.
So I don't think I've ever had anything bad with food trucks.
Mentioning the specific people set up there, if you're 21 and older, which is the legal drinking age.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about this.
Sun King Brewery has a special GenCon flavor every year. Now, some of these flavors do not go over so well with certain people.
Yeah.
The last year's I did not care for, but the one before that, Hive Mind, was delicious.
Yeah, this year it's an apple cider, isn't it?
I don't know. Have they announced it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was voted on. I'm pretty sure it's the apple cider one. I mean, you can double check, but if it is, I'm definitely going to be trying.
I mean, if it is, I'll try it.
But I'm pretty sure it's the cider. So yeah, and they've got an area kind of set up, where you got to be 21 to get into it, and you can't take the drinks out of the larger kind of dining area. So unless they're sealed cans, because they also sell those, then you can take them. You just can't drink them out in public because it's Bobbie and Chad. So Chad's gonna check this out here real quick. Just go to that. It should have the results, I would think.
Yeah.
Okay, well, never mind. Sorry. That
You
would
like
have
me?
That would have been the logical thing to do.
Is that it?
No,
that's looking back.
Yeah. Yeah, and they always try to give it some kind of funky name. Like last year's Roll for Initiative. Was that a cinnamon roll beer?
That wasn't even cinnamon roll. That was a cinnamon flavored cereal.
Oh.
L was cinnamon and lactose.
Oh, God, that sounds so
to
terrible.
me, it tasted burnt.
Yeah, that sounds so terrible. No, just go to your search there. Hang on, folks. Technical difficulties.
Here we go. I gotta pull up the Book of Faces. Yeah, that probably ain't gonna take me where I need to go.
Were there comments?
5 of them.
Okay.
This was 3 weeks ago, so.
Okay.
I got to know. Come on. Social Cantina was the one with the tacos.
Okay, Social Cantina. Like I said, they were good. I'll probably be going back to them.
Okay, it is an apple cider one.
Okay.
Apple cider.
That's what, Cyzer for cider?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so apple cider. So yeah. I'll be trying it. I kind of like the apple things.
I will try it. Yeah.
So yeah. So that's what you have close by. And like I said, I try to get lobster rolls. Chad, you haven't even said what I know you're dying to say.
Chef Dan's?
Yes, Chef Dan's.
With his alligator po' boy?
Yes, with the alligator po' boy.
Which was rather good, you have to admit.
They are good. I didn't say they weren't.
But you also haven't mentioned something else.
Well, is it a food truck? 'Cause I haven't gone beyond the
It's
food
not
truck.
a food truck.
Okay, we haven't gone beyond the food trucks yet. Is it in that area?
Yes.
Hang on. It's not a food truck?
But it's over near the food trucks.
With Lucas Oil Stadium?
Yes.
Yeah, there are places inside Lucas Oil.
Lucas Oil Stadium has their own concession stand area, which will be open during GenCon, and they will be selling you food and a cup that you can buy.
Well, that also works inside the convention center.
Well, the cup's over there, though. Is it not?
I think you can buy them inside the convention center.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
they
but
sell
that
a
is
cup where
important.
you can get free refills from Lucas Oil and, I guess, inside the convention center
Yeah.
for soda.
So if you don't want to indulge in
The Wild Bill
Wild
soda.
Bills, this is another option. Now, I think this cup has a lid, right?
Well, you can get a lid for Wild Bills too.
You can, but they're dicey. The cups weren't designed for lids, so the lids were made afterwards, and they don't stick very well.
But they just need to redesign the cup then.
Well, they have, but I already have a cup, so I don't want to spend $70 to buy a new one that the lid will fit. Get one of those Steins instead. That'll only like half full because of the carbonation. That's a little tip, by the way, for the Wild Bills. There, you want to put it in an angle, get some of the foam out, and then keep filling. Don't worry, everyone does it. That's why it takes so long to get the drink. Okay, but yes, the cup, that's important. I think that one, the math works out to, I think the third or fourth refill based on versus just buying the drinks. You're into free drinks at that point.
Yes.
And the cup last year looked good. I didn't realize it until like the last day, so I didn't buy one.
I might buy one this year just to have the cup.
Yeah. If you're gonna,
It's also not a small cup.
yeah, it's about like this. Yeah. So like if you're really looking to like kickstart the Beatus, like you want that Wilford Brimley visit, this is the way to go. But
I just want the cup.
So we're going to get around to something else related to that here in a moment, but I just want to finish with the food. There are also obviously restaurants in the general area.
A few blocks away, there's Fogo de Chão.
Because this is the downtown of a major American city here. So we have Fogo de Chão.
And Fogo de Chão is how it's pronounced.
Chão.
We just call it Chow.
Well, if I was going to call that, I was going to call it Fogo de Chão.
It is Fogo de Chão.
No, I think it's pronounced Chão.
Chow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway.
We'll disagree on this.
Yeah, anyway, I don't speak Portuguese.
Neither do I.
And it's a Brazilian steakhouse, so I assume it's Portuguese and not Spanish. Might not be anything. So anyway, it's a Brazilian steakhouse.
Really good.
It's really good. It's like $50 a person.
For lunch.
For lunch. Now, if you go there on Saturday,
It is also brunch.
it's also brunch. So they'll make you waffles. There's also bacon. There's eggs.
Omelets.
Yeah. And so if you don't know what a Brazilian steakhouse is, it's all you can eat meat.
That they bring you to your table.
Yes, you have a thing on the table to communicate. Yes, bring me more, or no, I'm done. I'm eating whatever. It's literally just red, green,
And you can flip it back and forth however you want.
Yeah.
If you have a plate full, you can flip it to red, finish off what you got, flip it back to green.
Yes, flipping to red is not some permanent commitment of I'm done. It's when you're finally done, and I think you have a 2-hour time limit.
I don't know. We've never been there that long.
I think we've only been about an hour and a half, but I think it's 2 hours. So anyway, they bring you, the guy will come up, or lady, and they'll be like, hey, here's my, top steak, or,
Parmesan encrusted chicken leg.
Yeah, Parmesan crusted chicken leg, sausage.
Which is good.
Whatever.
Lamb. The lamb's good, too.
And if it's like the chicken legs or the sausages, they'll just, pull one off the skewer. But if it's like a chunk of meat, then they'll be like, okay, well, what temperature do you want it cooked at? Because they have it where it's been cooked at variable temperatures.
Yes.
You'll tell them if you're like me, rare or medium rare.
Or like me, medium.
And so I'll tell them that. You'll put your plate over, you got a little set of tongs, he'll slice a chunk off, you'll grab it, and he'll go on his way. Now sometimes you get really lucky and they're like, well, I've just got this chunk left. How about that? You're like, hit me up, boss.
Mm-hmm.
So so you have that. Like I said, it is delicious.
Yes, and if you go, you better eat your $50 worth of steak and chicken and lamb and grilled mozzarella with honey on it.
Yeah, I let those guys eat that. I'm not a big fan of that one.
I eat his portion.
So they do also have a salad bar.
It's a trap.
No, it's not. Competitive eaters eat salad before because it expands your stomach.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they just eat lettuce.
They have that up there. I mean, I get smoked salmon from it. That's what I get.
The smoked salmon is good.
I get some fruit, like some pineapple and watermelon.
Those are good.
Now, you do also have sides at the table. Is it the little rolls? Do they have them there, or was that only Tucanos?
That was Tucanos.
Yeah, that's right. That sucks. I got something else to tell you about that.
They have mashed potatoes that they'll put.
The golden corn cakes, is that what they are?
I don't think they're corn. Well, they're like fried polenta sticks.
Yeah.
Which polenta is corn.
Yeah, it looks like a gold bar.
It does.
And the small bananas. What are they called, Chad?
Plantains.
Plantains.
Although plantains can be huge.
Yeah, but the ones there are tiny.
Yes, they are delicious, though.
Now, another trap. If you go there, don't order a soda.
No.
They will bring a bottle, and if you want any more, you're going to have to buy another bottle. And I don't know how much those bottles are.
Weren't they the one that gave you the little 6-ounce can?
Maybe. I've never ordered sodas.
Neither have I. It's always been water and...
Oh, and whenever I say bottle, to be clear, I don't mean a 20-ounce bottle. I mean the ones that are spherical. That's probably a 12-ounce.
Yeah, that's not Fogo.
Yeah, Fogo does that.
They have the can, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
the little tiny can.
They might. The point is...
It is not worth it.
The point is you're going to be paying for every refill. Plus, carbonation will disrupt the meat process.
Yes, you want no carbonation.
Yeah, now maybe it's countered by the acidity of the Coke. I don't know. I don't think so. But now they do have some lemonade kind of things that are pretty good.
Yes.
And there's some mixed drinks there that are pretty good.
By the way, this is not lemon lemonade. It's lemonade made with limes.
Yeah.
It is...
Yeah,
it is delicious.
Some kind of fruity drinks. They're pretty good. There's some kind of almost like a mojito that I get sometimes. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And by the way, since I'm not driving there, or I'm just going to walk back in the fine August heat, I don't have to worry about getting tipsy because that alcohol is going to be sweated out on the walk back.
Oh yeah. You could sit there for the rest of the day and it'll be sweated out because the meat sweats.
Yeah, and that is one thing. Just a minor note. During some other conventions, they do sell alcohol inside the convention center. I've never seen it for GenCon.
They do have a thing there with alcohol besides Sun King Brewery. There's a wine company that's been there the last couple of years.
Right, I mean inside.
Yeah, I don't think they do it inside.
Because they do at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, and just remember, if you're don't get tipsy, but also if you're just been walking around everywhere, a few drinks are not going to hurt you. So if that's your preference.
Also, don't drink on an empty stomach.
Yeah, definitely don't do that. So there's Fogo.
all the connected hotels and hotels right around there, they all generally have a restaurant built into them.
Yeah, there's a Weber Grill nearby.
There's a Starbucks in one.
That's pretty good. Yeah, there's a Starbucks inside one of the hotels there, and I'm sure there's others in the area. Like I said, I don't think the food court in the mall is open any longer, but I'm not 100% certain on that. I know the Chick-fil-A moved, so there is a Chick-fil-A. It's nearby somewhere in the few blocks around there. I think the Hot Box Pizza Like's actual physical location is somewhere nearby there.
It's a few blocks down Georgia Street.
Yeah.
Because I have literally seen them back when Georgia Street wasn't torn up for construction and all, getting restocked on pizza by a guy running a cart from down the street to their tent.
Yeah. I wonder if the Calzone place in that hotel you stayed at ever opened back up.
I don't know. Sauce on the side?
Yeah.
That was delicious.
Those really good calzones. That's going to be a few blocks down Georgia. You'll go down Georgia Street basically until you hit the basketball stadium, and you'll go left. And there's a hotel there, and it's right next to, it's like kind of in the lobby right next to it, something like that.
The year I stayed downtown there, I ate that place a few times.
The Spaghetti Factory is pretty good. It's a couple blocks away. It'll be down Georgia Street also. There, let's see, Burger University is closed.
Yeah.
I have only ever eaten, I don't think it was Harry and Izzy's, I think it was the other one that their parent company is. And again, I can't think of what that's called. But like there's like 3 steak places. They're all owned by the same company, right on the same street. But they sell sliders one day of GenCon. You have to buy them in advance. And they're really good, but they're expensive for what you get. They're literally like this big around. And, the burger's about that thick. You got the bun. It comes with 2 of those and like a bag of chips. And I think I had to pay for the Coke separate. And that was like $10 or $11. Now, is the best slider I ever had.
St. Elmo's.
St. Elmo's. That's it. That's one that owns them all. So I've not actually eaten any of the steakhouses. Chris tells me they're fantastic. And based on the burgers from their offshoots, I believe that.
But yeah, Burger University was delicious.
But they're also going to be a pretty penny. None of them are cheap. I think Harry and Izzy's is probably decent for lunch if you're getting burgers and stuff.
What, the 1 year we went to Burger University when it first opened was the same day we were going to go to Fogo?
We were going to go to Fogo or Tucano's, yeah.
Tucano's.
Tucano's was another Brazilian steakhouse, but it's up on the north side of Indianapolis, but it's like half the price.
And more lemonade options.
Good.
And cheesy bread.
Yeah. So we went to Burger University. That's where Chris got the foie gras burger.
Yes. So. I don't know if that would have been worth it. I made the mistake and got a burger and a side of mac and cheese.
Yeah, I got tater tots.
I was too full to properly enjoy the steakhouse later.
But yeah. So eating is it's important. Like I said, there's a bunch of other restaurants in the area. Like I know fast food a couple blocks away. There's an Arby's and a White Castle. I believe the Steak and Shake downtown is still open. It's on the bottom floor of like the parking garage across from the mall. And it looks like if you're ever seen that painting of like the diner from like the 50s where it's got like a giant glass window all the way around, it looks a lot like that.
And while we are mentioning all these places you can eat, there is another option you can do.
Well, I'm trying to think if there's any place else. I've never eaten there, but a lot of people endorse the Slippery Noodle. It's like a couple blocks away. I think it's the oldest bar in Indiana, if I remember right. But yeah, what were you going to go for there, Chad?
You can brown bag it.
Yeah, I mean...
You can bring your own food. You do not have to eat at the food trucks or the convention center or any of the restaurants downtown if you didn't want to save that money. You can just, ahead of time, do some grocery shopping, bring in cold cuts, bread, stuff like that. If you're staying in the hotel, you have a fridge there to keep it all in. Like, it is an option.
Yeah. On that note, theoretically, you're not supposed to bring food into the convention center. I don't know if that's specifically the halls and the rooms, or if that's the whole convention center, because I have seen a lady before who basically had some coolers with her, and like started to get food out, like they asked her to head outside because you're not supposed to bring food in there.
No.
Now they're not going to stop if you've got like a Rice Krispie treat or a granola bar or candy or something in your bag. No one's going to come up and be like, "What are you doing with that?"
Yeah,
you know.
And no one's going to do a bag search looking for this stuff.
Yeah. We probably shouldn't actually mention that on here, but for other reasons.
Well,
we don't want to give anyone any ideas.
They're not going to be doing a bag search looking for food.
Yeah. So
there's going to be other reasons.
Yeah. So keep that in mind, but also like you'd probably be just fine just going and sitting where the tables are and just busting it out.
Yeah.
And if not, you can go right outside. There are seats outside. And there's shade, depending on where you're going. So and so kind of with that, I would probably advise bringing snacks because you don't want to get in a situation like, well, I need to eat something. Oh, I'm going to go buy a $9 slice of pizza because I don't have time to go anyplace else. Like, you don't want to find yourself in that situation.
No.
It's easier if you just go to the store beforehand or a gas station or something.
Buy a box of granola bars or something.
Granola bars, Rice Krispie treats. If you don't think they'll melt, some candy bars. I mean, or if it's just a sugar thing, just, buy a bag of, I brought them last year, Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah.
Something like that. They don't take up a lot of space, and obviously if you have health concerns related to that, you're going to have to plan ahead, but because if you are in that situation, like if you're diabetic or something, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. This is nothing we have said thus far is diet advice, anything like that. We're just telling you what we've done in the past. But obviously, if you're a diabetic, plan ahead because you're
Yes.
walking a lot. You might not have water on hand. You might not have something sweet on hand unless you're bringing it yourself.
You can get water because they do have the water dispensers set up in the convention center.
Sure, but I mean
So if you do bring a bottle or travel mug or whatever, you have water you can get.
Yeah, but I mean unless you know where they are, you could find yourself on the wrong side of the dealer hall and you're crashing out or something.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying if it were me, I would plan ahead for that.
Yes.
But to Chad's point, that is the other thing. Stay hydrated.
Yes.
You might not realize how much you're losing just walking around, even if you're not profusely sweating.
Yeah, even just right there in dealer's hall and through the hallways, you're going to get thirsty. Make sure you drink.
Yeah. And so you can buy the sodas like we've been talking about. Those stands inside the convention center typically have bottled water, and like I said, I think it's Powerade, not Gatorade.
Yeah.
And some of the fruit juices, like the Minute Maid bottles, are like this big. They're like $3 in a gas station, so they're probably like $10 there.
Or you can do like me and Bobbie have done in the past: buy you Gatorades on the way there, one for each day.
Yeah.
And then you refill that at the freestanding water fountains.
Yeah. Usually drink the Gatorade in the morning while it's still cold, and then you've got the bottle. And like Chad said, there's fountains spread around the convention center, and you go up, and they're usually pedal operated or something. And, fill them up. Now,
at worst, you got a little bit of a line on one.
Yeah. Now, this is where you're hoping that everyone has been keeping the rim of their water bottles away from the contact point. That is a potential risk for the good old con crud, which... I'm not gonna. If I could, I'll tempt fate here. This is what I hope.
I believe so.
I have never gotten the con crud, and I don't know how people end up getting it, but I have not. So, just throwing that out there. But in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, you are around 75,000 other people from all over the country
who have spent over $100 on the badge alone to get there.
Who have been to other parts of the world, who may be recovering from a disease, not know they have a disease, because again, not medical advice, but
not everybody shows symptoms if they're sick.
Yeah, well, also not medical advice here, but I'm given to understand that for the cold and the flu, by the time you show symptoms, you're done with being communicable. It was while you weren't showing the symptoms is when you're spreading it.
Yep.
So, at least that's what I've read.
That's what I've been told.
So, not a doctor. Don't base any decisions on that. So, you're around people that are going to, occasionally cough or, breathe as people are wont to do.
Or sneeze.
Or sneeze,
Because, your nostril itches at times.
Yeah, or, you're in the restroom and, like, the person behind you wasn't as cleanly as they should have been. You don't notice, or it's not visible. And, just any number of potential vectors. And that's one of them. So if you're concerned with that, don't do that. Don't get that water. Just be prepared to buy a bunch of it from someplace else. Most of the trucks, the food trucks, sell a lot of water.
Yes.
If you don't want the soda.
Or you can buy you a case of water and just
bring some,
carry you around like 4 or 5 bottles for the day.
Yeah, just know they won't be cold.
Nope.
Unless you can convince someone to give you a cup of ice somewhere. Good luck.
That might be possible.
So, so stay hydrated. And it probably wouldn't hurt, again, not medical advice or anything, but it probably wouldn't hurt if a couple of those drinks were water or were like a Gatorade or a Powerade and not just sodas constantly, unless you're in your 20s and you can just slough that off. Also should not be a constant stream of Monster or 5-Hour Energy or something unless you want to die of a heart attack.
What?
Yeah, I know. You didn't expect that advice to ever come from me, but...
No!
Chad, I stopped drinking that crap like 2 years ago.
What, Monsters?
Monsters, energy drinks, all of it.
I still have one occasionally.
So I lost like 70 pounds.
Lucky you. I cut that stuff out and I keep weight.
Yeah, well, so anyway, just in general, take care of yourself on the food and drink front is what we're trying to get at here.
And to keep from getting sick, there's certain things you can do.
Yeah, again, let me go into this just real quick. Again, this is not medical advice, but I don't think, barring an allergy, I don't think this could hurt you. But what I have done in the past is I've taken like Super C or like Emergency, where it's a massive dose of vitamin C that boosts your immune system. And they also have like zinc and elderberry and something else in there. I think Super C has B12 in there.
I was more going to say be careful with your hygiene.
Yeah, I mean,
wash your hands.
I know you're going to
keep clean.
I know you're going to the next part. I just wanted the last little bit of like, there are things that you can do that for most people seem to help boosting your immune system, and that it probably wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. If you're going to do that, well, okay, let me rephrase that. Whenever I do that, I start like a week or two beforehand to start building up the levels of those things in my system. I don't think it's just going to magically work if I start popping those things Thursday morning of GenCon.
Probably not.
Like, your body needs to have it in your system. At least that's what's worked for me. I'm not advising you do that. That's up to you. But to Chad's point, there are also hygiene-related things like washing your hands or, your whole body in what most people call a shower.
Or if you have a nice hotel room with a nice bath, take a bath.
Well,
that would probably feel good on your back and your feet after being at the convention all day.
I mean, it probably will, but you're also sitting there in your own filth for
most of it. You shower, then soak.
Or the other, one of the two.
You shower to wash off, then you soak in the tub.
Yeah, well, I mean, it works either way, though. Because, like, say you sit there and soak when you shower.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. If you shower first, you're not sitting there in your own filth. So,
yep.
Yeah.
And you don't have to then get up after you've soaked and
stand there in the shower.
Stand there for 5 minutes in the shower while you scrub up real quick.
Or if you have a hot tub, then probably shower before you get in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Be courteous if you have any guests in your room.
Yeah.
But the point here is wash yourself. Like, shower, wash your hair. Keep up your appearance, but also the whole cleaning thing contributes to your overall health, or so I am told.
And from what I have been told, I am not a medical expert, sleep plays an important part in your health.
In living.
It actually does help with fighting colds and such. From what I've been told, to get adequate sleep. Because I don't know about you, Bobbie, when I get sick, I get really tired.
Well, I've noticed there's a correlation with me getting sick to me having several days in a row of not good sleep and not enough sleep. That seems, when I get sick, happens to coincide with that to the point of I think it's no longer just a coincidence. I think it brings down my super immune system to just a normal mortal level immune system. And Chad, you laughed. Do you know how many times I've called into work in 10 years, like, for actually being sick, aside from the one time I got the flu where I was out for like 8 days?
Oh, I remember those days.
Like, aside from that, I think I've called in for being sick like 3 days.
Yeah, me, Ashley, and Jerry were joking like he died.
Dude, I felt like I died. I lost 15 pounds because I couldn't eat anything. I had nightmares about work. Like, I was afraid to go to sleep because of the fever-induced nightmares I was having. And I was just like, Jesus, like, I will never confuse flu-like symptoms with the flu ever again. Like, this is way worse. This sucks. Then there's that part that's like, but I did lose 15 pounds. Maybe it's worth it again.
Yeah.
No, like, that was awful. But no, I get like sore throat problems, like hacking crap up, and like, but that only happens like after a huge stretch of like really awful sleep. So yes, to Chad's point, the generally accepted medical opinion, I do believe, is that like you want to get enough sleep so it helps your body fight these things so you don't take hold. But also, you want to enjoy yourself, and you're not going to enjoy yourself if by like Saturday you're mobassing around there because you've got no energy because you've got no sleep, and you're just like chugging energy drinks like there's no tomorrow, and you're past the point of them actually working, and now they're working against you. That can happen, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Same thing with coffee. There is like a break point where like it starts to do the opposite of what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, supposedly also your body's not meant to handle more than 400 milligrams of caffeine, so I have been told.
Yeah, well.
That's in like a day.
Yeah. So
not in a few hours.
So anyway, things to consider. So that kind of comes back to the whole like, also want to drink a lot of water. It helps move things through your system. So yeah, so along with taking a shower, probably advised to wear deodorant.
That not just because of natural body odor might not be great, but because you are going to be in Indiana in early August, late July, like we mentioned before, you're going to be sweating.
Yes. So deodorant and antiperspirant is what I should technically say.
Yes.
But yeah. And also consider breath mints, because the dealer's hall is very loud, so there's a real good chance you're going to have to lean into someone for them to be able to hear you clearly. And not everyone has the best breath.
So, not everyone wants to smell what you had for lunch.
Yeah. So just a thought, breath mints or chewing gum or something, just to help, break that up.
I will probably invest in breath mints this year.
Yeah. So yeah, but in general, the point is maintain good hygiene. Like, don't come there with the with the beard that clearly should have been shaved like 3 weeks ago. Make sure you actually comb and brush your hair
if you have hair.
If you have hair. Make sure your shirt doesn't have like holes in it.
I can't wear my holy around the shirt or around the house shirt to convention.
No. Now the ladies get by with holes in the jeans, but guys, I guess if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Like if you want to go for that, that's probably acceptable. Like if you're gonna wear sandals, like make sure you don't have like yellow toenails or something.
Yeah.
Make
also,
sure you don't have like massive foot or like swamp foot.
I wouldn't advise sandals.
Yeah, just
for the convention, anyways.
Yeah, just in general, I wouldn't wear them.
Not only are they not as generally they're not as comfortable as regular shoes, but you're in a crowded area.
Yeah, your feet might get stepped on.
Yes. Do you want that on a barefoot, which is sandals going to leave it open? Or do you want it on, like, a shoe that's going to offer some padding?
Yeah, because, like, someone minor Chad size steps on your foot, like, we might break a toe.
Yeah.
Like, we're not small people.
I'm not as tall as Bobbie, but I'm a pretty heavy set guy.
Yeah, and,
and I don't mean to step on toes.
Yeah.
But if it happens, it could hurt.
So, yeah, just in general, practice good hygiene. You're out in public around tens of thousands of people. If for some reason you don't expect that from other people, one, I feel very sorry for you. But two, you should.
Yes.
This is a societal norm. Now, we say this every year, but I'm going to be totally honest, Chad. I think I have only, in the entire time I've gone, been around maybe 3 people, if that I've been like, God damn, did this guy just waller in corpses or something? You know?
There's been one or two.
Like, I just personally have not heavily encountered this.
No.
But people talk about it so much that I have to assume it is also happening. And I'm just gotten really damn lucky.
I've had one or two moments at the convention through the few years I've gone where I wish I'd been carrying aerosol with me.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's because of any one specific person.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last time it happened, I think it was last year. Like, I was 100% certain who it was. Like, there was no doubt. But, like, you know, so then the self-conscious part of me is like, hopefully I'm not that guy, you know.
Yeah.
I hope you'd tell me if I was.
I probably would, because before we even left the house, Chris's house or wherever, I'd be like, you need a wash.
Yeah.
And put deodorant on.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think.
And trim your beard up.
Yeah.
I have pointed out when you had an uneven beard before for you.
I appreciate that, Chad. So anyway, now we have just like other things to do in Indianapolis if you're there other days, or
say you showed up Tuesday or Wednesday and you don't have the trade date badge.
Yeah, or you're staying Monday or something, or you're there Thursday, but nothing interests you Thursday for some reason. You know, just whatever. There's a lot of stuff to do. These are around the city, so.
Even though you might be there and someone interested you during the day, there could be stuff that happens at these places later on in the day once Dealers Hall is closed or whatever. That might interest you.
Yeah, because Dealers Hall closes at 6. The convention does not close at 6. The convention doesn't close until Sunday at 4 p.m.
Yep.
So there are things, there's events. You see our event video, we kind of talked about this. But there's events, there's stuff going on constantly. But if you want to get away from all that, want to go to some other stuff, there's a number of museums around the city.
Yes.
But there's one very close to the convention center.
Like, pretty much just a block away.
Yeah, it's actually technically 2 museums together. One is the Eiteljorg, which, don't expect me to spell that.
No.
It has a lot of Western art. And I don't mean like civilizationally the West. I mean like the American West. So like Native Americans, cowboys, that general era. There's a lot of art related to that. And Sarah and I went through that about a year ago. Mm-hmm. It's pretty nice.
They have an IMAX attached to that, don't they?
The State Museum, the building that's next to it, is where the IMAX is.
Okay.
Because it's technically, like I said, it's technically to the State Museum. Like if you're looking dead on at it, the Eiteljorg is on the right, State Museum is on the left. You will definitely be able to tell because the Eiteljorg looks like a kind of fanciful building that has stuff related to it. The other just looks like a building.
And the State Museum, it's a true IMAX.
Yes. The screen is 80 feet tall.
And the one year me, Bobbie, and Chris, our friends, stayed downtown, they had the original Ghost in the Shell playing.
Yes.
Subbed, not dubbed.
Yeah, which I thought we lucked out at the very beginning because the police scanner, even the dubbed version, is still in English.
Yeah.
So because it's a random track that's used in other movies. But yeah, I saw Rogue One there and something else. But yeah. Yeah, so there's that museum. There is the Kurt Vonnegut Museum and Library. There's the Bob Ross Museum. There's the City Zoo, which is pretty nice. Although the last time I went there, a guy got shot outside. There's the Riverside Walkway. There's the State Fair, which is usually running at the same time. And if you want anything of a deep fried variety, they've got it all. And then there's a Lego store up on the north side in Castleton, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, just some other stuff to do if you're interested in other things. So,
yep.
I think that is roughly where our spiel will end, because I think we're about to get some company.
Yes.
Just 2 quick notes, if I can get them in here. We have no idea how tariffs are going to impact any of this.
Nope.
There have already been some companies that have folded because of the tariffs. And some other things have happened. Like, for instance, Catalyst Games just bought Ironwind Metals.
I didn't see that coming.
And so I assume Ironwind Metals is still going to have a separate booth, but I haven't checked the layout yet, because if they've already got it scheduled, I don't think they're just going to suddenly stop it.
No.
But going forward, they might be merged. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be, I don't know what anything's going to happen there. But also, I think WizKids isn't going to be there, if I remember correctly. They're going to be at Origins. because it's the 50th anniversary of Origins, from what I've seen. I don't think the people that make the Overpower game, the new one, are going to be there. They're going to be at Origins. And
well, Origins is more geared towards actual gaming, not
a trade show.
Not a trade show.
So, and there's some other events people have talked about have been canceled or not going to be there. Something to do with the anime stuff, some aspect of it. But the tariffs are probably going to have an impact on pricing if I had to guess. We'll see where the things are at that point in time. Because who knows at this point? I don't think anyone does. Also, I have seen a number of people comment on coming to the U.S. from other countries. I'm not going to sit here and tell you whether you should or not. Okay, I'm not going to presume to know. But just know that that is a concern people have at the moment. So, I don't want to speak for other people's experiences, but I seem to see the same 3 or 4 stories of questionable things that are happening, and I don't want to belittle anyone's experiences on those. I don't know how widespread disruptions are, because in case you don't follow the news, our immigration policies have somewhat changed. So, yeah. I know I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's okay, it's not okay. I think given the sheer number of people that come in and out of the country, and the fact I keep hearing the same few stories, to me sounds like it's a very, very low chance of anything happening, and it basically sounds like just make sure your paperwork is in order, which should be what you should be doing if you're international traveling anyway.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not going to presume to tell anyone what they should do. So if you feel that it's unsafe, don't come to the United States.
No.
Like, it's not worth it for a gaming convention, even as big as it is. But so yeah, I just wanted to mention that here at the end because it is a concern for some people. So anyway, I think that's all we've got on this one, Chad.
Yep.
Right. So if you got any questions, shoot us down in the comments. Try to answer them as quickly as we can, because I do get questions on the GenCon videos because people do want advice.
And hopefully we see you at GenCon.
Yes, and make sure you check out the Fans of GenCon Facebook group. It's not, we don't run it, someone else does. Guy lives in Indianapolis, but it's very, very informative, so check that out. But yeah, I think that's all we got. So if you liked what you saw here, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting would help us grow the channel. I would appreciate it. And subscribing, obviously, that's the name of the game here on YouTube. But yeah, so I think that's all we got. So hopefully see you guys after the show.
Hopefully.